If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description.
So Joey Badass just announced his new album 2000. So today I wanted to go over the announcement, what we know about this album so far, what materials he's released, what this album could bring with it in terms of, content, but then also meaning behind it, and what the title 2000 really means. So let's jump straight into this. So let's start with the history behind this, because Joey has been releasing music in 2022 so far already. So he's released 2 singles so far. The first one was The Revenge, which I thought was an amazing track. I still have that on repeat. Then also most recently, he's released Head High, which is a slower track, or more mellow in its nature, and it does have some really clever lines in there. References a lot of like New York hip hop. So those 2 singles were the 2 singles we got for this quote unquote new record so far. So we could kind of already tell that a new Joey album was gonna come. Well, then the first time we heard about this title was on May 4th when Joey Badass took to social media to share pictures of him, in this all white outfit, which I think looks really dope, and it looks like some gangster shit that he's, pulling off there. And it had the caption, "No sleep till 2000. And this, of course, kind of people were speculating, his debut tape back in 2012 was 1999. So 2000 obviously being the year after that. And then also very recently, to yesterday actually, marked the 10-year anniversary for 1999, which was, a project that played a huge role over the course of his career and just putting him on the map as well. So we all knew that something was gonna come. And then today, it actually did come. So we got a trailer for this new project. It's just a skate park in New York, and at the end we can see Joey, right there rapping a couple of the lines of one of the albums, Back on the Set Like I Never Left. And that's also what the caption for this video is. And it also says hashtag new album and hashtag June 17th. And that is also what we can get, because at the end of this little trailer, it does say June 17th. And that is not too far ahead in the future. That is about a month or like 5 weeks in total. Well, he then also announced a tour, which is called the 1999 to 2000 Summer Tour. It has a couple of dates on there. It starts on July 1st, so 2 weeks after the album drops, which I think is a pretty, reasonable time period in between dropping the music and then performing the music. I think that's pretty wise in terms of just marketing aspects. And there's a lot behind this title of 1999 and 2000 and all of that I want to look into a little bit now, because there is some interesting stuff behind this. So first of all, why was 1999 named 1999? I found a really good Reddit post on this on the Joey Badass Reddit by Justin Gilman Music from 5 years ago. So I don't know if he's watching this, but thank you, bro. And he kind of explained the whole history behind this. So the question was, why is the album named 1999? And he replied to this, and now stick with me because this is important for the title of 2000. He said, "It's a 90s throwback tape. Most of the beats from MF Doom or Static Selector albums in the 90s, and a few others crafted to sound like them. 1999 is just considered a famous year, the turn of the century. It's just the most obvious and catchy year to pick without naming it the 90s but today. And also, it could be hinting at how everything changed in 2000. So it's like Joey is straddling the border between the 90s and the 2000s. There were tons of millennial conspiracy theories too, like, Y2K. You'll probably know about that. It's not that deep, but all of this is the same reasons why people say the catchy line, party like it's 1999 instead of 1998 or 96 or anything random. It was a time of change and excitement. And this is exactly where now this new album, 2000, comes in. First of all, from the musical hip-hop cultural aspect, you could say that Joey is now channeling his inner 2000s on this new record, while on 1999 it was mostly about the 90s, mostly 90s beats, mostly throwback throwbacks to the 90s with 90 flows and stuff like that. Something that worked very well for Joey. You know, he came up with that, in the early 2010s, and that was always his trademark. But the 2000s also were a pretty important era in hip hop, and maybe he's now channeling some of that on the record 2000. Also, the singles we've heard so far, The Revenge and also Head High, were not really completely 90s sounding. So I do see some elements in there that play into this exact theory that I have for this. Now, also, it says that the year 2000 was a time of big change and big excitement, and Joey is kind of bridging the gap between the 1990s and the 2000s, and that's exactly where I see Joey at. He's this dude that still raps like he's from the 90s, but that did find mainstream appeal in the 2000s. That is basically Joey Badass in a nutshell. Now, also, it could be about, the time of excitement and change, and he could channel some of that conceptually or content-wise on this new record. We just don't know yet. Or maybe it's just the evolution, like 1999 turned into 2000, and there was some change and evolution in that. Maybe Joey just wants to project that on his career and his music and all of that. And of course, it also puts a whole new dimension on the tour, which is called the 1999, the 2000 Summer Tour, which is, just kind of celebrating the change and having it like a really cool kind of starting a new type of vibe in there. Also, of course, this whole thing is just announced under the whole umbrella of it being the 10th anniversary of 1999. I think that is very important to add, because obviously that is the only reason he announced this today. Otherwise, the day wouldn't really make sense like that. But I like that, he's taken it back to one of the early days in his career, his first tape that really made him blow, and now connecting it to something newer. I think that's a really cool kind of spot where I see Joey in. We've had Cole say this on, Middle Child, him being the big brother to these little young kids, but then also being a student of the 90s and stuff like that. That is exactly where I see Joey Badass at as well. And Kendrick is also in kind of the same lane. And I like that he's putting himself up there with them and going with this concept. I think that this could work really well on whatever he decides to do with it. So Joey Badass announced a new album, 2000, spiritual successor to 1999. Some of the new stuff we have in here that I went over. He also dropped a little trailer. Make sure you go check that out if you have not yet. And he announced a tour, the 1999-2000 tour, which go cop the tickets probably. If you were there in town while the tour is happening, then go cop those tickets, once in a lifetime. So yeah, that's all about this. Now I want to know what you think about this. Are you excited for 2000, the new Joey Badass tape? What do you think this has, in connection with 1999? What do you think is kind of the tie between the two? Do you agree with me on some of the stuff I said? Do you disagree with me, and why? All of this, please let me know in the comments down below.
If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.